Hello, hello, welcome back to my channel and another reaction video. This time we're checking out the top 10 American urban legends.
That was the summer all the kids from Staten Island discovered that their urban legend was real.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 American urban legends.
It frightens people, especially children, and it kills livestock and wreaks havoc on social order.
For this list, we're looking at apocryphal spooky tales from
Bigfoot.
around the United States that have haunted and fascinated people for years. Are there any paranormal detectives out there with more legends from America's heartland? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10, Riverdale Road, Colorado. Riverdale Road is an 11-mile stretch in Thornton, Colorado that is one of the most haunted streets in America. There are a host of legends that surround Riverdale Road. In one, the set of rusted wrought iron gates on the road was allegedly built by a
What movie
madman
is
who
this
burned
clip
down his
from?
own home.
No. I might be in this one. Sounds familiar actually.
A ghostly apparition of a woman in white supposedly haunts the gates, which
Ah,
may or
Woman
may
in
not
White.
be a gateway
First
to hell.
episode of
In another,
Supernatural.
a ghostly jogger sometimes appears to chase pedestrians while a ghostly Camaro chases
Okay, so
drivers. Riverdale
all
is
kinds
also
of
supposedly home to a ghost hitchhiker, bloody handprints, and even Native American shapeshifters. The Shaman's Portal,
Before we go to the Shaman's Portal, okay, so the road in Colorado. I recognize a lot of those supposed ghosts that haunt it. They are from Supernatural. Yeah, the Woman in White is the first, then something shapeshifters, the hitchhiker, and I think they mentioned some burned out cabin. It's not just in Supernatural, but usually a lot of uh, horror movies use urban legends as inspiration. So yeah, I didn't know they all stem from this one road in Colorado, and I don't know. Yeah, has it spread to other parts of in the U.S. claim similar things? I'd imagine a lot of times when people read about the urban legends and such, they start spreading them around, and all of a sudden, we have similar in our and whatever. Anyway, now Shaman's Portal, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Did you know that Oklahoma has its very own Bermuda Triangle? Beaver Dunes Park is located in the state's western panhandle and is home to 300 acres of sand dunes. Today, Beaver Dunes Park is a popular ATV destination. But dating as far back as Coronado, Western travelers have been warned against traversing the dunes by local indigenous tribes. The dunes are colloquially known as Shaman's Portal. Some of Coronado's men supposedly vanished in a flash of eerie green light.
Cool.
Similar stories have trickled out through the years, involving mysterious lights and strange disappearances. Some claim it's the site of a UFO crash, others that an interdimensional portal lies there. In any case, Beaver Dunes Park is not a place to travel alone.
Extraterrestrial life. You're right, Jerry. The people are gonna love it.
Number 8.
For Hell's Gate. Yeah, okay. That last clip was from Mars Attack, which is a ridiculous movie. But if you haven't watched it, it's actually kind of hilarious as well. Jack Nicholson really does shine in that, and it has a stellar cast. But yeah, back to the Shaman's Portal. Well, first time hearing about it. I mean, you hear about UFO sightings and such, but okay, there's its very own Bermuda Triangle somewhere. And yeah, Coronado, I didn't immediately recognize the name, but he was I want to say conquistador from way back when. I don't know. The only thing I remember is that Indiana Jones Last Crusade, the beginning, they're fighting over golden cross that belonged to Coronado, but yeah, whatever. Onto the Hell's Gate Bridge, Alabama.
Hell's Gate Bridge, Alabama. Oxford, Alabama is a small town of 22,000 souls and home to the most haunted bridge in the state. As the story goes, a young couple was driving across the bridge late one night in the 1950s. A malevolent force may have sent them careening off the bridge into the waters below, where they both died. According to one legend, if you drive onto Hell's Gate Bridge at night and kill your lights, the couple will appear in the back seat of your car. Another says that while driving across the bridge, if you look over
that's
your
it.
shoulder, you will see a fiery gate
What?
to hell right behind you.
It's a freaking name. Drag me to, yeah. Thank you for showing the name of the movie.
Number
That's a
7,
pretty fun movie.
Escalante Petrified Forest.
Before we go to Petrified Forest, that's a cool name. But yeah, okay, so a haunted bridge. I mean, first I've heard of a haunted bridge now that, well, maybe I've heard before, but I don't immediately remember. And that would be pretty damn creepy. You're just driving a car and all of a sudden a couple hangs behind the back seat. But what happens once you cross the bridge? Do you die before, or do they just disappear still? Anywho, Escalante Petrified Forest, Utah.
Utah. Visitors travel to Escalante Petrified Forest to experience incredible biking trails, canoeing, and camping under the stars. There is one caveat. Don't take any of that petrified wood home as a souvenir. In addition to being a state crime, anyone foolish enough to take a piece of the petrified forest may be cursed.
Some say that the wood is haunted, and taking a piece brings bad luck.
There are many stories of former visitors doomed to bad luck or illness after their visit. A park ranger back in 2014 claimed that he receives a dozen packages containing a piece of petrified wood every year at the park. Usually, the wood is accompanied by a letter detailing the terrible calamities that befell those who dared to test the curse's power. Number 6, the Cropsey Killer.
Okay, before we go into the Cropsey Killer, so Petrified Forest, how does exactly forest petrify? What exactly is the phenomenon behind it? Is it just, similar to how living things fossilize? Eventually, that will happen. And I need to look that up. But okay, so the forest, if you take basically a cursed forest, if you take a piece home on some such, I don't know, first time hearing about it, then honestly got me really intrigued in the whole petrified forest thing. But yeah, onto the Cropsey Killer, New York.
New York. The only thing more terrifying than a scary urban legend is when that legend inspires a real criminal. There are many versions of the story of the Cropsey Killer, all dependent on where in New York you grew up. Some have Cropsey as a slasher who hunted children at a sleepaway camp upstate. Others tell the story of a hook-handed escapee from a mental health hospital who haunted the tunnels of Staten Island.
Other times he wielded a bloody axe. But it didn't matter. Cropsey was out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to get us.
His legend helped inspire slasher films like Halloween and Friday the 13th.
What you did to him. Look what you did to him!
Unfortunately, it may also have inspired Andre Rand, a Staten Island school custodian and convicted kidnapper. Rand is suspected to be behind a spate of child kidnappings and deaths in the 1980s.
They are missing person cases that have occurred on Staten Island that have not been resolved. They involve 3 children and an adult, as the chief has indicated.
Number 5, the Bunnyman.
Okay, before we go into Bunnyman, I've seen a terrible class shit horror movie about the Bunnyman. I don't know if this is from it. Doesn't seem to be, but anyway. So the Cropsey Killer, the inspiration for both Halloween and Friday the 13th, which I'm a huge fan of those movies, but I didn't know that it was a Cropsey Killer urban legend that inspired them. I always thought it was, I don't know, something else. I mean, it's very possible that something else also inspired, but yeah, what I noticed there was the I was talking about in the earlier in the video about how once the story about the urban legends travels, it other places are gonna then have the same story, though, as we saw. So it changes after being passed around enough times, and this happened in New York, even though it's a big city, yet in a relatively small area, you can have multiple versions of the same urban legends, which I do find very very fascinating. Wow. But yeah, now the Bunnyman, Virginia.
Virginia. In Clifton, Virginia, there's a small train bridge with a small pedestrian tunnel beneath it. The bridge and tunnel are unremarkable 364 days of the year. But according to local lore, on Halloween of 1904, an escaped mental patient attacked a group of kids there, stringing them up like rabbits, earning the moniker the Bunnyman.
Yeah, I have not seen
In truth,
this version,
a
but it
couple parked
looks
nearby in 1970 was attacked by a man with a hatchet. They told the local news that he had something on his head. The rumor mill ate up the story and eventually churned out an urban legend of a man-hunting lunatic dressed as a bunny. But by then, the legend had stuck and has since been a fixture of local lore.
Ooh, spooky.
Number 4. The
Okay, Jersey Devil, I do remember that. First time I heard about that was in X-Files, but yeah, the Bunnyman. So, I mean, a crazy man puts on a bunny outfit and starts hacking people. Very believable, very possible, and honestly, yeah, once again, once the story is out there, people get scared, they pass along, the story gets a life of its own. Doesn't matter if it's real or not, it's real to people who share it for whatever reason. Sometimes urban legends are, just a fun little local, local gossip that people love passing around, that this is our story and whatever. Anyway, the Jersey Devil, New Jersey.
Jersey Devil, New Jersey.
It frightens people, especially children, and it kills livestock and wreaks havoc on social order.
The United States is a young country, and there are local legends that predate its founding. In 1735, a woman by the name of Mother Leeds gave birth to her 13th child.
But then something went terribly wrong. In the space of less than 20 minutes, the baby grew to the size of 2 full-grown men.
Frustrated by the number of mouths she had to feed, she cursed the child and claimed that, quote, it would be the devil. Sure enough, the baby soon grew wings, hooves, horns, and a tail, leaving its human family to live in the wild as a beast.
In some accounts, the creature sort of thrashes everyone in the room. In other accounts, it kills the women who are attending the birth, and then it flies around the room and out the chimney and into the night.
Sightings of the creature have trickled out of the Pine Barrens ever since. They reached their peak in 1909, when many claim to have either seen or been attacked by the creature.
There were many front-page newspaper articles written about this. Posses were sent out. Children were kept indoors. Schools were closed. Factories were closed.
People were scared of the Jersey Devil back in the day. But again, first time I heard of the Jersey Devil was in X-Files, and in that the creature was nothing like that. I think it was some hobo and his mate living in the woods, attacking anything and everyone, and I think the episode ended with their child still roaming in the woods. But okay, this actually got me really interested in the actual lore. The one mother giving birth to her 13th child. 13, that's a trooper right there. But turns out 13, the unlucky number, was a monster who terrified Jersey, what schools and factories closed and whatnot. But now Wendigo. I've heard it many tales. This has become very popular in recent years, not Until Dawn and Supernatural and such. So yeah.
The Wendigo, Minnesota.
Yep, Supernatural. Clip from Supernatural. I think it's from the first season, actually.
Northern Native American peoples like the Ojibwe, Innu, and Naskapi all have similar folklore about a winter monster. The northern woods of Minnesota and central Canada, they say, are home to a vicious beast known as the Wendigo. Some versions of the story describe it as a feral monster, others as a demonic spirit.
And
in all
I need to
versions,
watch
the
that one.
Wendigo is a savage killer that stalks the snowy winter forests of the north. The Ojibwa believe that the Wendigo is territorial, eating any human that encroaches upon its lands.
Almost all Wendigos begin as humans, and once transformed, it has no gender.
A fate worse than death awaits the gluttonous or greedy, who may become possessed by the Wendigo instead, doomed to become monsters themselves.
Charmed as well. I've seen only a few episodes of this. Before we go into Mothman, something I also have heard, and I've seen the Richard Gere movie, but so Wendigo. Okay, so multiple stories of asexual monsters hunting the wilds during winter. Until Dawn is the most recent. That's an awesome game, and the Wendigos were quite awesome in that. Fun little creepy game, and in that game it was explained that okay, if you result into cannibalism, you get possessed by the spirit of the Wendigo, and that turns you. But okay, so here they mentioned if you get bit. Honestly, this version of this version, the real urban legends make Wendigo sound like more vampiric than anything else. Oh, okay, it's an interesting fact that it takes it's a winter monster, but why during winter would they hunt? And they also mentioned that there were several almost all, well, not all, but many Native American myths that had something similar. Maybe the cannibalism thing is a version of some part, but okay. Now into Mothman.
Mothman, West Virginia. From November 1966 to December 1967, Point Pleasant, West Virginia was the cryptid capital of America. Locals reported seeing a large humanoid creature, white with large wings and glowing red eyes.
I don't know what else it could have been.
Skeptics believe that these were just sightings of large sandhill cranes. The stories gained national attention, and one newspaper called it the Mothman.
There were over 100 reported sightings to the local authorities. You had some people who, claimed to have seen it while driving in their car. You had some other people seeing it in their front yard.
Some believed that the creature was an escaped military experiment housed at a base nearby.
Okay,
Others claimed
that's
it was
cool.
an alien working from a hidden UFO.
Almost all agreed on the same points. The monster was as large or is larger than a big man. It had wings but no feathers and took off into the air straight like a helicopter, gliding through the sky. Its face was indistinguishable besides two large glowing red eyes.
All believers agree that the creature was somehow related to the December 1967 collapse of the nearby Silver Bridge, which killed 46 people. Whether Mothman allegedly caused the
And to
collapse
look up
or
that.
appeared to warn us, nobody can say.
His popularity has expanded around the world and brought a lot of tourism to Point Pleasant.
Mothman
Before we
Professor, that
continue,
sounds
be
more
sure to
familiar.
subscribe to our number 1, Bigfoot.
I should have guessed that Bigfoot was gonna be the number one, but okay, Mothman. Mothman prophecy is the monster benevolent creature who warns that a catastrophe is close. They mentioned some bridge collapse, which I need to look up. I said it before, and it's always urban legends always surround real events that start them all, and yeah, this was quite fantastic. And first time I've heard of a military experiment. I need to look up that. That's actually kind of hilarious. I mean, yeah, sure. Different militaries around the globe do most likely do a lot of weird experiments, but yeah, it'll be fun to find out what the Tinfoil Hat Brigade has to say about that. But yeah, on to number 1, Bigfoot, Oregon and Washington.
Oregon and Washington.
What the film shows us is a massive bipedal creature.
Cryptid hunters the world over have spent decades hunting for the missing link, an animal that stopped evolving halfway between great ape and human. In America, that creature supposedly haunts the boreal forests of the Pacific Northwest. Washington state has had the most sightings of any state. For decades, hikers, hunters, and lumberjacks have claimed to have seen tall, ape-like creatures in the woods.
When you've got something that big, that close to you, you could see it well enough to know that must be a Bigfoot. So I just kind of backed out and walked away.
Some say that it's reclusive and shy. Some have spoken of vicious attacks that
is
they
a
barely
beautiful
escaped.
forest.
Whether he's a gentle giant or a bloodthirsty beast, millions of people believe in their bones that Bigfoot is real and is out there somewhere.
And you'll hear the stories.
And then he said it had a weird smell.
Bigfoot,
And he
an
kinda
icon,
walked towards it.
a mystery, a mascot.
Well, I'm definitely open to Bigfoot. What's the world without a little wonder, right?
Okay, so Bigfoot, yeah, a lot of people seem to believe that there is a species living out there. I mean, every year they do find new species lurking on areas around the globe that are more or less untouched. So it'll be pretty hard to believe that a creature of that size could be, could be living there without, proper footage. I mean, there are plenty of footage, it seems, but yeah, I do recognize them. This is perhaps the most famous one, and honestly, to me, this always looks like that's a guy in a suit. But to each his own. I'm not here to say you can't believe them. I believe in facts and proof. So, but yeah. Anyway, there you have it, folks. Top 10 American urban legends. I will put the original Watch Mojo video link down below. But yeah, Americans, what do you guys feel about this list? I don't know, share your experience. I'm not saying if you've necessarily seen, but surely you've heard. And are there something? Are there other urban legends? This is only top 10, so I'm sure there are plenty of urban legends. So if you know something, share them down below. I'd be interested to hear. Well, anyway, hope you enjoyed my reaction. Drop a comment, like, subscribe if you want, and I will see you in another video.